guys, it is early Friday morning, about 8 o'clock. I am just getting ready to go to the office, but before I'm gonna first eat my breakfast. So last night I just couldn't sleep. I woke up at 6 o'clock and I've been thinking about my rental, my second rental property. So if you guys see my last video, you know I bought a rental property and my contractor actually is overbooked. He was gonna get down the project for me, I would say like starting next week, but he bought a property from auction. Now he finally ejected the previous landlord. So he needs to kind of fix up his rental too. So that way there's no squatter. I completely understand that. You know, I was with him when he was doing the ejection process, but it just got me thinking like, he's not gonna do my rental and I can't rent it out. And I'm worried if it gets cold, it's gonna be hard to find tenant. I am just going to eat my breakfast real quick and then I'll head to the office. I have a closing at 10 o'clock.
OK。合约我有，我可以发给你，我到时候到公司我发你们。
I'll see you later. I totally forgot. It's the Moon Festival. In China, like we get together with like families, and I think it's like September, sometimes September, it's like a moon festival. So we have moon cake. Why are there so many apples? I mean, I love apples. This is so cute. And yesterday the cleaning lady was here. You guys should see my office. It was like so messy, so messy. But I'm so glad now it's like all cleaned up. Alright, so first thing first, I gotta do some work because one of my clients just called me this morning, so I have to send him some document and then I have to go to closing. The best thing to have closing in my office is I just have to take 5 steps to go to closing. I used to be so excited every time there's closing happening, but now I just feel like when you do closing, when I have to go, it's like kind of wasting time. Like I want to do everything that benefit my business, not really like, not gonna increase any productions. Yep, sorry, they're not going, no, I didn't know it's those people. They're not doing any, no, they're not doing shit. It's those people, I'm sorry to inform you. I know. I mean, but think about it. Oh, shit. Hi, Kevin. It's gonna get done. It's just he prefer you to come here because he needs to go and he's waiting for the funding approval. So if you don't sign seller side, I know, because I heard that they didn't show up until 10. I heard from the agent.
他那个 midnight 的那个，最近一直在看他的那个。
是建筑师那个。
哎，对对对，他呢，但是就说他的幅度很大。
They are pretty responsive because I work with them most of the time. Yeah. How did it go with that that property that he saw, the one I sent you?
Okay, the one that he sent me is the tenants still live in there, but it's kind of like a squatter house. It doesn't look good, and you know the tenant won't cooperate, so they can't try to
Florida.
Okay.
Orlando area.
Okay.
And I have a friend of mine. He's looking to sell property in Philadelphia.
Guys, welcome back. So in the last part of the video, I want to go over a few key points of how I was able to make more money but work less. In this part of the video, I want to go over how regular agents, their way of making money and their schedule versus how the way I did it. The first point I want to talk about is most people in the business, when they first get transactions, it's usually through family friend and through referrals. And when they first initial reach out to family friends, a lot of time they give them discount, and the family friends don't really treat, you know, the agent as a professional because they see them more so as a family member. So there's always like complications and miscommunications, and it leads to the deal not getting done properly. I didn't really have the advantage to have family friends who are in Philadelphia where I can reach out. It's just something that worked against me at the very beginning, but actually worked for me after a few years in the business because it taught me how to be independent. It taught me how to do business with strangers. And number two is essentially all your family friends, when they ended up buying properties with you, you are going to run out of business. The next point is because you're doing business through referrals, it's hard for you to have the skills and the lead generation ways to get established at the very beginning. First thing that I had to do is cold calling, because there's no other way for me to get business besides picking up the phone, try to prospect, try to get sellers. And nobody really wants to talk to for sale by owners or expired listings because they are the hard seller to work with, especially for sale by owners. They think they know it all, and they are talkers on the phone. Sometimes they lure you into a appointment, but they don't list with you. And the next point I wanted to make is a typical agent, they will start making money fairly quick if they grow up, they know a lot of people in the city, in the area, and they started getting like, oh, I could relax. I made a couple transactions now and I made, 30, 40 grand. I can leverage on a luxury trip. I can take time, I can relax, because that's kind of how social media is. Usually when an agent is doing well, they post pictures of them, going on expensive trips. They buy themselves like nice bags. So they just felt like maybe that's something that they should do too. They will stop working. And for people like me, when I initially started, I haven't even made a penny my first 6 months. It just made me so hungry to stay in the business, and I'm willing to try anything. So if you don't have that drive, if you don't make you to go the lowest of your bottom, it's hard for people to kind of pick up the phone. It's kind of hard for people to embrace that objection. So that's kind of something also I wanted to, bring that out that worked for me. And last but not least is people are very hard to scale that business based on taking buyers. So I've said that many times, and I have respect for a lot of buyer agents, especially in my office. They can take buyers to go out show houses every single day. They can put on offers in every single day. So they pretty much have 1 to 2 closings a week and makes them, like top agents. But for people like me, where I would rather going on a whole week without any pendings or any under contract, I would much rather spending that on the phone, because years down the road, my seller could reach back out at me. On one single week, I might be able to get 3-4 listings. And these listings will essentially go on pending in like 2 months. So this is the way how I'm planning on my business, essentially get me to scale on a higher level where I can pretty much just work less, but I make more money. I have more control. I have way better schedule. My points are the traditional route of real estate agents, and I feel like you guys should kind of just look into it and compare to how I did my journey. So to start out, I was very young. I had no experience in the business. And the only one thing that I can think about myself is like, I have thick skin. I don't give up. I always followed up. I see everything as an opportunity. And I'm not willing, like I'm willing to get down dirty and do all the legwork without any complaint. So I've been doing that for about 6 months. I've tried everything. I did rental, I did open house, I did door knock, I did cold calls. I did everything, and I finally figured out that actually cold call works the best for me, and it's the most efficient, it's the inexpensive way. You know, being a female, I don't feel comfortable knocking on people's doors. I'm afraid of like big dogs and jumping on the door, and then scares me. So it's definitely a very slow start, but it gets easier as I was in the business for 6 to 1 year. I started feeling that my cold call leads are finally getting back to me. Right now, if I look at all my transactions, I will say in 10 transactions, there's 4 that are cold call, and the rest 4 to 5 is mostly referrals. But these referrals are based on my first initial cold call listing appointment that leads to a good word of mouth that they told their family friends, and then essentially get back to me to list it. And usually the quality of these leads are much better. Sellers respect you so much. There's no objection at the listing appointment. There's no argument when it comes to pricing the home. And I typically can sell it within like a couple days. And it's insane. Always get 5-star reviews. Like I just asked them once, and then they are so willing to write like the best review for me. Those sellers are typically older. They own the home free and clear, and most of their friends also own the home free and clear. So average age of my seller are typically between the age of 60 to 80 years old. And these sellers are definitely very easy to work with, you know, because dealing with a stressful seller or difficult seller can take a lot of energy out of you. It can also take a lot of time. The next point I wanted to mention is the scale. Like, how do I scale my business? I don't just make money through listing, where listings are a majority of the way and most of my commission based on. This year, I've also incorporated my second YouTube channel, and this channel has been doing so good for me. Like I just reached to about 1,500 subscribers less than a year, but because it was so concentrated and targeted, my audience groups are, I only talk in Mandarin, and I focus my niche as Philadelphia real estate. So everybody who's watching my channel is the one that has an idea or have a plan of buying a real estate in Philadelphia. So I typically get about 1 or 2 leads a day. And once I get those leads, I just refer it out to my buyer agent, and they will close it. Usually 10 leads, they will close about 1. But I get 1 lead a day. So we've had closing since this month, like the beginning of this year up until now. I think on the buyer side, I've closed about 12 transactions, which is insane. And I'm super, super grateful, and I love how my channel is doing. So here are the points that I kind of want to, you know, illustrate and make you guys understand how I was able to scale my business. If you find this video helpful, please leave a comment down below, leave fortune cookies. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.